Great, so now we're going to talk about the theory of justice, and this comes from John Rowles. And the basic idea behind the theory of justice is that we should all act fairly towards each other in order to maintain bonds of community, right? So just think about being a good corporate citizen. That's a great example of the theory of justice. Now the problem with it, in a very broad sense, it can inspire businesses to do the right thing, but it typically seems to be more applicable to broader societal issues than it does for an individual business. So for example, if you own a small business, are you really going to be making the world a better place when it's just one person working in a small shop somewhere? It's hard to say. And there are three types of justice that stem from the theory of justice. You've got distributive. Hopefully you guys can see that. You've got distributive, retributive, and compensatory. So, distributive justice basically means that we all should benefit and be burdened by society. Let me think of here's a great example of distributive justice, maybe on a personal level, right? So when I was a kid, I wanted to make cookies. And I asked my friends for help. And so, the things I asked them for, would you maybe help me knead the cookie dough? Would you help me mix the ingredients? Would you help me buy the chocolate chips, the flour, all that good stuff, right? Now, none of my friends wanted to do any of that. So I wound up making the cookies myself. But then all of my friends wanted the cookies after I made them, and I didn't give them any. And I didn't feel that I was being selfish because they only wanted the benefits of the fact that I made cookies, but they didn't want to contribute to the process itself. Okay. Now you can apply this to the theory of justice in that you can say, well, as I'm speaking from an American perspective, as an American citizen, you have certain obligations like to pay taxes or follow the law and those kinds of things. And if you follow those basic societal obligations, then you can also get the full benefits of being an American citizen, for example. So it's not just about taking from the country, but it's also about giving back to the country. Or as JFK would say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I think that's a good example of distributive justice. There's also compensatory justice, which we talked about just a little bit in an earlier video. And that basically means that if you have performed some sort of a wrongdoing against another person, then you should try to compensate them for their loss. Okay? So for example, if you get into a car accident and it's clearly your fault, then you should pay for that person's car or any property that you have damaged in order to maintain kind of these bonds of society. And then there's also retributive justice. Typically this has a past-looking orientation. So if someone did something wrong in the past, then we should be able to punish them for any wrongdoing that they performed. And that's usually more of a legal instead of a financial sense. So compensatory justice is usually correcting some sort of a financial wrong, whereas retributive justice is usually about fixing some sort of a legal, moral, or ethical wrong. In our next video, we're going to talk about the utility ethic.